Hey you guys, we're back again with another video on the Mark II. I just kind of wanted to update you guys what I did further. So, only one issue with the harness so far. We, for whatever reason, aren't getting any power out of the line that comes from that goes to the fuel pump. What we did notice is with some finagling, we can pretty much get the engine and fuel pump to prime if it's activated by ground. So that's a little obstacle we'll have to work over. We'll probably put in a manual fuel pump start switch, probably like next to the dash or something. But I just kind of wanted to show you what we did separate from the Sesh harness for like headlights and stuff. So let me show you that right now. Okay, well, you have all your standalone electronics, but the only thing is you don't have is your signal to your starter from your ignition. So what we pretty much did is we took apart the old harness and we pretty much found this connector goes to the transmission, but this one back here, this little one that goes to the back of the starter right here, that I'm not going to click in because it's really hard to take out. We found that portion of the harness in our old harness, thanks to a really good photo of a CE2 fuse box that I'm going to go ahead and put in the video. So if you guys want to take it, I'll also put a link in the description to it. But what these wires pretty much go to, that we're lengthening, is they're going to go along the harness here. This, you saw I put together some stuff here. I'll tell you what this is in a second. They pretty much go to this right here, which go to the inside of the car. And then inside here, we just use the same connectors that we took out of the fuse box for it. So it's this right here. It should be the first white plug next to this really thin green one in a CE2 fuse box. And then the other side of it should pretty much stretch over to this red power cable right here. So what that does is that's going to give power to the whole fuse box, and it's going to give us our signal to go from the key to the starter so that we can actually start the car without any sort of random jump. Because this is a standalone harness, which means it's pretty much meant to just make the engine turn on. It's not meant to have any sort of like signal to the starter or anything like that. So all that stuff you either have to jerry rig or get from the original. The thing that I wanted to show you is the headlights. Now also, same as before, your headlights are not a part of this harness. This is just simply for the engine. So again, you have to dig through that old harness that we saw and you have to pretty much find your headlight loom, which is not that difficult actually. So what we have here is pretty much just what I needed for my headlight test. So all I really need is the headlights and the indicator lights, the front indicator lights, because my fenders do not have side indicators, so it kind of simplifies it a whole lot. Now your OEM wiring is going to go down here and it's going to go around the upside of here, and then it's going to bunch together at this loom, and then come together with the other light over here. What I did, we did not have to lengthen any wires at all. We pretty much went down here along the rail, same as the wires with the last video, and just down under here, right next to this kind of like K-frame mount right here. So eventually this will kind of be like a little higher. So now it's just sagging. And then I did the same thing on this side. This side did not need any extending, so it's pretty much just the headlight right here and the front fog light. Now all of that, we managed to keep the two headlight harnesses independent of each other, meaning they don't splice anywhere, they don't keep together. So pretty much if I wanted to, I could only have the left headlight or the right headlight. Then what we did was put a makeshift grommet here, because in the last video I didn't have a grommet, it was just a jagged metal. In the thick Sesh harness that they give you, I put some just generic like electrician's wire, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. That looks like if you took apart like this, just generic like household, like stuff that you use to wire the lights in your house. I took one of these apart, I just took out the black wire because it looks nice, and it has the rigidity of like a coat hanger. So what I kind of did was put it in the sheathing, and then that kind of gave me the ability to shape it how I want. So I don't know if you can tell, but here it's got a little bit of a bend. Oh, here's a wire right here. It's got a little bit of a bend to go up here like this, and to stay straight like that, and come down that way. So that's what we kind of did in here. You're probably wondering where all that goes again. And in the first video, I pretty much told you to follow those little clumps of wire. And that was for like the engine and all your sensors and stuff. Now, essentially what you wanted to do is just follow them back, use the little picture that I showed you, or just remember or take photos of where you had them. These two yellow ones are your harnesses. So for the lights, the left one should be your left side, your driver's side if you're in the US, and the right one should be your right side, passenger side. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The way they came out through that firewall is the same way we pretty much pushed them in through this grommet right here and just gave them their same spot again. So now what we effectively did was we have the harness over there. We have each of our headlights will work because they're just in the same place they were last time. Nothing really happened besides a little bit simplified down because we took out some indicators and horns. The power to the fuse box is provided right here, so all my accessories will work that the fuse box drives, like the cluster and all these little lights and the radio and all that stuff. And then lastly, there should be, yeah, I already showed you this. This is the clip to the alternator, starter, everything like that. This is the power. There is one more. So the next thing I have to do is this right here. So this is in all Volkswagen cars, they don't use black as ground. So it's pretty much this dark orange, like brown color that you see. This is going to be the big common ground to the fuse box, essentially. So this, using that guide that I showed you, click it. Needs to go, and just find a ground for it. I would probably suggest a body ground, just because there's not enough wire, or you could just lengthen it toward the battery. Totally up to you guys. So yeah, like I said, you're going to want to take your time with this, take a lot of photos, use Google as your resource to figure out where all the stuff goes. So far, the only difficult thing is trying to figure out why we couldn't get the car to start via that fuel pump line. But it would probably have been easier if we had all the line, because I'm ordering it right now and they're sending it to me because they forgot to send it. But that was the hardest part, really. It looks extremely overwhelming when you just drop the fuse box. You see all those wires, and you're like you don't even know what to do. But if you just slow it down, take a look at that diagram, figure out what's what, go slow, take photos, and it's pretty much a cakewalk. Because my friend, who's he does a lot of like electric work and stuff, he almost lost his shit when he saw all the wiring and stuff. But we took our time with it, just went slow, and we ended up just pretty much knocking it out. So now pretty much gonna have just a really clean bay, no useless stuff that I don't need. But the thing is, it's stuff that I could always put back in. I could always repin the connector for the headlights if I ended up needing fog lights or side indicators, stuff like that. It looks really intimidating, but I promise, just take your time, and it shouldn't take forever. It's taking longer for me because I want it to be correct, and using a lot more zip ties than I thought I would. So all right, that's pretty much it. That's what the update. Like I said, managed to get the engine to start. It worked. It worked for like 10 seconds before I turned it off because I took the radiator off, so there's no like coolant or anything. Yeah, overall great. I spoke to Mike today, asked him about the question. Mike's the guy you'll pretty much be talking to if you do anything like Eurowise related, and he's pretty helpful. He pretty much got on top of it right away, gave us some good suggestions to like fix our problem. Super fast with shipping if you need anything. But yeah, overall really happy with it. And I'll update you when we pretty much have the rest of it back in. All right, have a good one, guys.